Well, 5 very important facts to consider when you're looking at auction. Today in the studio we have Ros Brebner, from stylist from Presenting Beautiful Homes, with us, and we're going to talk about preparing a home for sale or lease. Welcome, Ros.
Hi Kerry, how are you?
Tell us how you got into this.
About 10 years ago I joined Mari Stacey and became her business partner, and 10 years have gone really quickly.
So you must have seen a lot of homes and styled a lot of rooms by this time.
Absolutely.
Some things that make me curious about this is how much difference does it really make? How much can you increase the value in the sale?
I think we can make a huge difference, particularly once we've added furniture and styled the property, and a lot more people are doing that these days.
Does it depend whether it's a top end or mid-range property?
I don't think so. I think for most people it's the most important asset that they own, and they need to give it their best shot.
And when you go in, what's the process? Do you do a whole walk-around overview and then prioritise? Because I imagine it depends on where it's best to spend your money.
Yes. In most cases, I'd say in 90% of the cases, it's recommendations and advice, taking into account that it's a very personal involvement with the client. And then we also offer trade work. We can project manage that, and then styling if they need some furniture.
So with that comment about it's very personal, what happens if Nana's given a very precious item that you think should go? How do you deal with that?
I think you do, as my business partner Mari said to me when I started, imagine speaking to your mother-in-law when giving advice, and I think that is a trick. You have to be really sensitive and make a suggestion as best you can.
Because is it true that when people live in a house, they don't necessarily stand back and see it objectively like others do, I guess? So when you walk through, what are the most important things that you work on?
I think clean, fresh and light are really good principles. So a lot of people don't see maintenance issues. They forget that they've never had a light shade in the walk-in robe or in the main bathroom. But the principles are, painting makes a huge difference, as does a really good scrub and clean. And a tidy up and a decluttering, making the rooms as spacious as you can.
So just on painting, feature walls were very popular. Where do they sit now?
Probably not as popular as they were, say, 5 years ago. I think for marketing a property, it's better to be neutral, so that people can envisage their own things in a property without, a clash of colours and interior taste.
Seems now the properties go for this very stark, clear look, almost as if no one's living in them, except the number of cushions. What is it about the cushions?
Well, it's a really good question. I know my family struggles with me at home with the number of cushions we have, but I think for most people, in terms of a decorating principle, you can easily change the look with cushions, and it's a great layering up and adds contrast colour without a feature wall or whatever.
And they always say the two hot items are bathrooms and kitchens. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, what can you do to freshen them up?
Certainly check the silicone along bench tops and in vanities and showers where there's mould and mildew. We also have a great trade that works with us that reglazes tiles in a bathroom.
Do you mean like the spray
painting? Yes, enamel finish. And that's a really good result for probably a third of the price of a total reno. That's
fantastic, because it is expensive, isn't it, once you start getting to all those sort of things?
They're expensive areas.
Yeah. So what does make a difference when people come in and let's go outside, because gardens can be very expensive these days? What do you do with the garden jungle?
Well, I think usually a good weed and a tidy, a mown lawn always makes a difference, as you'd know. But I also always recommend mulching all the garden beds, all of those lovely plants, particularly as we're now into spring, will look so much better with some dark mulch underneath them.
And are there particular sorts of plants that are better than others to put in place?
I suppose we need to take on board the droughts, so drought-tolerant natives. There's some great spiky architectural plants that we like to use. And I like, for most properties, repetition rather than a scattering of a whole lot of different plants.
Right. Now tell me, Ros, how does this impact with the rental market, which is obviously my interest on the property management side?
Yes.
Is it any different when you're renting a property?
Not at all. Same principles. For somebody looking to rent a property, it needs to be really well presented, very clean, tidy. It's their home, the tenant's home, and they want it to be welcoming and well presented when they have friends over. It's no different to a homeowner.
You mentioned before about light inside. As part of that, it also features for windows, because some people will have the curtains from years ago or the blind that's falling down. What do you recommend for window?
And I think
features?
for tenanted properties, that's really important. You can do very inexpensive blinds, you know, opaque or block-out blinds, not the old Holland blind that, you know, many of us would be familiar with. And even some inexpensive curtains, ready-made curtains. You can go to IKEA, Spotlight, Lincraft for those sorts of things. But I think that helps in presenting it to tenants.
And lighting, because you were mentioning that before, because people are going into the environmentally friendly, energy efficient, but they're so dull.
Yes, I usually get people to change them. I'm really sorry about that, but for sale purposes and for opens, I think, and for tenants, I think it's a really good idea. Light and bright is really important. People enjoy a light environment. As we are going into spring, there's a sense of relief. Same principle in a house, I think.
And if you were going into a place and it was just really, everywhere you looked there was stuff and it was quite dated, how would you approach that?
The best thing they could do is move out.
Which they're going to do.
But they're not going to always do that. But some of the agents that we work with TOOPs, will say, you know, condition them towards that. If not, it's trying to tactfully suggest that a lot of that stuff goes. And that would be saying to them things like, this room is really quite a good sized room, but you've got so much in here and you've been here, living here a long time. And so it's time to pull some of that out and have spaces around walls.
So less is more.
Absolutely.
Do you provide off-site storage, or what do you do if people have literally got clutter everywhere? Do you just box it up and put it out?
We've got a new relationship with a storage facility out of Use Store It. So we have a referral system to their business, and they provide special rates for us, for our company. So that's where they would deliver a storage unit to the property, and then the owners can fill it up and then it gets taken away.
Great. Look, Ros, lovely to stay with us, and we can talk some more about this because it's a very interesting topic. But for now, let's have a look at Going, Going, Gone.